Welcome back to Conversations with Biz. In this video, we're going to discuss if women and children are really a success metric for men.
It's good to be hard on yourself. I'm very hard on myself, but I'm finally happy. And it's taken a good 7-8 years that I'm actually a bit. I feel nicer.
This is when you fully settled into the middle age. I'm on the cusp fully. You get what I'm saying? I'm on the cusp about to. But when you hit 40, this is the zen.
Yeah.
So I got 2 years. Yeah.
Do you think your life's better now compared to, let's say, where it was
2016. So
yeah,
Of course it is.
Yeah, I
What's
think
it?
my journey started 2016. So I moved to Birmingham.
Yeah, when you done that,
It was a good decision, good move. I was stressed.
he was stressed though.
And I just think that I've taken all the restrictions off me. I don't feel so much pressure anymore. Like obviously I'm not married, I don't have like a wife, I'm not coming home to a family in the yard. So there's a lot of pressure for that. Don't get me wrong, there's like I've woke up and I've come home sometimes, I'm like rotting like you ain't got a family, bro. Like you don't have like a family unit. I've got like my family, you don't have like a family unit like where you're taking your wife or your kids on holiday, doing like the stuff I believe at my age I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm not going to put an age on it, but you know, I said I've gone on party holidays and I've been at the beach side or the pool side, and you know, I'm talking to men, and then I'm telling them my age, and they're telling me they're 27, 26. I'm like rotted. Like we're on the same thing. We're both at the pool doing hey. And don't get me wrong, enjoyment shouldn't end, because people like to put enjoyment a cap on it, saying, "Oh, you're 40, you shouldn't do this." There's a video I saw just now of some brother at a 50 Cent concert wearing like one of the G Unit vests, and he's having the time of his life.
White do-rag underneath the hat. He was delivering. His wife was gassing him.
And when you die, all you have is memories. That's all you keep is your memories. And I always say to people, take as much pictures with your loved ones and friends as possible, because all you have when they pass is the memories, the pictures, the videos, and you can reminisce and go back at that. And I think I'm only at peace now because I've taken a few restrictions off myself. I'm not as hard on myself on things that I believe I should have achieved. I try to be fair and balanced and look at the world in general, look where I've come from and say, okay, where do I fit in this? How well am I doing? You know, and I think I'm all right. And I've just the other day I sat and said, I'm halfway there. Like I've lived half of my life nearly. Unless I'm gonna go to like 90 and 100. And if I'm not in good health, I'd rather not hit 90 and 100. I'd rather, if I'm in good health up to 75 or 80, let me go. Like all this, just wherever it is, I don't want to be here till 95 if I'm not strong. I'm halfway there. And you know, I was speaking to one of the younger lot the other day, and he was trying to mock me in it, saying, like you're an old man now, you're old. And I was like, okay. And then he started breaking down to me saying, okay, what have you done that you wish you would have done better at my age? I think I would have settled down a bit earlier. I think.
Why?
Okay, I think we always tend to think we're going to be in our prime forever.
Yeah.
And I'm talking just for men. I'm not talking for women.
Yeah, of course.
And I think the problem for me was that as I got older, I think I said to myself, time isn't going to run out.
Yeah.
And just looking at 2016 to now, that's like 9 years. It's gone so quick.
Yeah.
It's taken 9 years of my life.
9 years, that's 7 years.
Is it 9? Is it 7?
7.
You know, my math sometimes is all over. Yeah. It's 7 years.
We call green maths.
You know, it's 7 years it's taken away from my life. 7 years.
Yeah.
And is it 7? Wait, 4? Yeah, 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah, maths is my thing.
And I'm sitting there like,
Your words are maths.
you know, and I'm sitting there like, I probably should have settled down or attempted to settle down and not be doing Jair and Gragra then.
Okay.
Because you got to bear this in mind now, is that if I want to have like say a family of 4 kids or whatever, let's say whatever it is, when am I going to start doing that?
So would you say knowing when to like retire is a skill?
Very important.
Because like to liken it to like sports and like boxing, for example, like there's a couple fighters that shouldn't have returned to fighting, and then they get back in and they get punched up, and they tarnish their whole legacy.
Jr. He should have just tapped out when he needed to tap out.
Yeah.
And I think where you fit, but the other flip side to it is that I don't think I was ready. And when sometimes women will get onto men saying, why did they always say they're not ready to settle down? When you're not at peace with yourself, whether it's financially, emotionally, spiritually, as a guy, I don't think you can give peace to anybody else.
You know what's crazy though?
I don't think you can.
You know what's crazy, Gabs? I think whatever would have come at whatever time, yeah, I think we would have found a way to adapt.
I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely. You would have made it work.
You would have made it work.
Yes.
You'd have found a way to make it work.
So could that be my issue? Is that I'm always trying to make a situation perfect, and it's never going to be perfect. So I use it to self-sabotage and just not make it happen.
It's endless.
All right, guys. He's been going for a little bit. What do you guys think?
There's a lot of juice in that. I feel like he's describing that latter part of the conversation. There was really him describing a lot of the complexes that a lot of men, a lot of us, a lot of people go through. Always like, when's the right time to have a child? When's the right time to get married? When's the right time to X, Y, Z? And I think, especially based on your kind of worldview, a lot of people don't commonly come to, oh yeah, now's a good time. They constantly think about some fairy tale destination in the future that at that point in time I will have the resources I need to succeed. And it's funny because I had a conversation with Benjamin some years back, and it was funny because we were talking about how at an age where you have your first child, like you're not really that equipped, but first child comes and you work it out, and by the time the second and by the time the second child comes, it's kind of like, hold on, wait. The place I was in back in the day in child one is actually worse off than where I am at the point I am now, basically.
Yeah.
So obviously there is an advantage. Like it's almost like we call it an unfair advantage. You might say that I have now that I didn't have previously. I've got the experience of the child. I've got more experience of life. I've got more resources, all that kind of stuff. So I remember having that conversation with B back then. So just on that point, I think that's a challenge that so many of us face. I think on the flip side, coming back to the early part of the conversation, I think that the way you perceive the world dictates massively the impact and the type of influence you can have on the world. And I think really, I thank God, as I'm watching this video, I thank God for the fact that the Lord found me and I became a believer, bro. I thank God that I was able to know him. You know what? My vision as a young man was to get married and settle down at 40. But I found myself at the age of, 22, thereabouts, just not far off 18, between 18 and 22, having a child, settling down and starting to get married, bro. And I genuinely believe that that was the Lord's will for my life. And had I not found God, bro, I would have been operating like this guy's story. That would have been my story, bro. That would have been my story.
Yeah.
And what do you... sorry, go on, bro.
Like is actually quite nuts, because as I'm hearing him, so like take his situation and then I look at like, like maybe something that, I'm going through myself is just like, I started early, but me and him at the same place. Do you get what I'm saying? It ain't really where you start. So I mean, you could, like you can. It's true that we do put those pressures on ourselves. I don't think it's bad. I don't think pressure is bad. I feel like you should have that pressure there. You should have your mom and your dad saying like, when. But you should be strong enough to be able to, like, recently, obviously, like, we've had the conversations. Like, I'm a person who is very easy for me to be like, I'm going to do it when everything is perfect. You know what I mean? It's like, I might not even have, like, obviously, I'm not a big, like, clothes person. I don't, like, designers, whatever, like, even just normal clothes, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, I wait until the last minute. Oh, we got a party coming up next week. Then it's like, oh yeah, I got to get this and I got to get that. But it's not a bad thing to have those plans, but then also leave room for those plans to be interrupted. Because if you're solemnly just stuck with your plans, it's like, no, this has got to happen before this happens. Like, someone really good could come towards you and you'll just be like, no, I haven't accomplished this yet, so therefore I can't intervene with you. Do you know what I mean? I can't interact with you. I can't, do you know what I mean? I'm like, that's how, I think it's a conversation that we've had together, actually, us three together. That's made me realize, oh, okay, cool. Even though right now I feel like as a person who's also just turned 40, I want to be, I want to
have this, have that. I need to sort this out. I need to sort that out. So therefore, I'm not, especially like being by myself and working from home is like, it's easy for me to just like shut out the world.
Yeah.
So go church, go Bible study, come home. Go church, go Bible study, come home. It's like I'm not even gonna like even poke my head out until I'm in this place, and then financially I'm here, and then but I'm also realizing is like, yeah, like maybe at 20 you could lock in for 5 years and not allow and don't poke your head out. But when you're 40, it's like, yeah, I don't really think you can do that. Do you know what I mean?
Do you feel like being locked in always has to mean not going down a relationship route or not pursuing marriage?
I feel like that's how people explain it, but maybe it's because of like how they see. Like, look, for us, there's an intention whenever you're in a relationship. So I mean, I'm not getting in a relationship to see if this works. Like, first of all, I'm gonna inquire. I'm gonna go to God. I'm gonna inquire, Lord, like this person, that person, like, what do you think? Do you know what I mean? And then, obviously, like when I'm interacting with the person, I'm letting them know from the get-go, like, look, my intention is to be married. That's my intention. So if you're not about that life, leave me alone. I do not care how you look like. Do you know what I mean? It's like if you're not about that, like, go find someone who wants to have fun and party or whatever. But I'm not that person. So if that is your intention, like, you know, like there's a lot of, especially when it comes to around relationship, there's a lot of like, I'm not sure's.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I really hate that. Like, I don't have. Like, I was watching a business thing today. Yeah, the guy goes, when he first started his business, he would try to create the website by himself. He would try to make the calls by himself. He would try to do all of that by himself. I think there's a book called Almanac. You guys might know about it.
Yeah.
But in that book, I think it kind of mentions, like, add a value to your hours. So if your hours are worth 15 pounds, right? And it's taking you 10 hours to make a website, yeah? Now, 15 times 10, I don't know whose maths is mathsing like that. But so you could... So if 15 times 10, if you can find someone that can do it for you for cheaper, that means you could have paid somebody to do that and you would have been better off. So if I look at it in relationship concepts, it's like, why do I even want to entertain something that's only going to waste my time?
Yep.
Like, why do I want to do that? Like, I'd much rather be without, like, leave it, let it go, and then, you know, like, hopefully down the line I can find someone that's more serious, and then we can basically just start that journey together, who's on what I'm on, basically. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's yeah. So I think to make my long answer short is have a plan in place and work that plan. Go in, but leave a room for interruption. Like,
how much interruption?
This is where you got to use wisdom.
Do you have something that just comes in like an anomaly, and it's just it can shatter the whole plan, or is it you leave a little bit?
I feel like so in my situation now, yeah, like, it's got to fit into my plan. It can't shatter my plan. It's got to fit into my plan. Like, because before it was like, yeah, dead relationships, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I got to focus on, I got to sort this out, this, that, and the other. But and then it's like, but you can have someone that comes in, and it ain't even really about, you know, like, you guys trying to like start a relationship and stuff like that. It's just, wow, they just might be on what you on. Like, they want to grow in Christ. Yeah. Right, let's help each other with that. Do you know what I mean? As time goes on, you get to know that person. Obviously, like, the one clear way the Bible tells us to be able to measure a person is to judge them by their fruits. A person can only hide for so long. Do you know what I mean? And if you're looking, and if you, I won't say the person's name, but some rapper back in the day was like, the best way to see a person is to act like you're not looking at them. You know what I mean? So if you just chill and just let them be them, you'll know, does this person fit into my life or don't they?
Yeah. And
if they don't, it's like, yeah, I don't think we can move forward or whatever. But it ain't stopping my plans. My plans are still going. I'm still doing what I've got to be doing. Still hitting my results like I've got to be hitting it. But can you imagine if that person is the person who I can move forward with? Yeah. And I said no to them. So now, after I finish accomplishing everything, now I've got to start that journey.
And that's the thing that always hits me about these conversations. And it's like, I was thinking the same thing when he was talking in the video as well. It's like, so many people, when I watch these kind of videos, when I see this stuff, it's like, it's almost like they remove the possibility of a partner being like a necessary or a significant part in the journey that you're going on.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe it's just being married for a certain amount of years and just living life and realizing the benefit of a partner, someone that you're going to bat with, someone that you go to war with, basically through everything. Just knowing that you've got a partner with you alongside you, regardless of what's happening. It's like, I think back through certain situations in life and I'm like, imagine if I did that by myself. It's like, yes, we can adapt, we will get stronger, but there's certain things, and I think about Ems, and it's like, me and her have these conversations all the time. It's like, well, not all the time, but from time to time. And it's like, we look at each other and we see how we've made each other better. We see how we've challenged each other, where it's like, I may do something which she doesn't like. She may do stuff which I don't like. And we are both becoming stronger, obviously as individuals, but we're building a family together. So we're building a unit, which is obviously legacy, which will continue to perpetuate by God's grace. But it's like, that's a positive. It's almost like in a lot of these conversations when guys are speaking, it's a lot of, I'm doing this, and it's almost like that's going to be a negative, which we need to be able to compensate for as we continue on the journey. Like, no, it's like, partnership is a good thing, and partnership is going to has the potential to build something very powerful. And obviously we know, like, this is just, I'm not even necessarily even talking about the God element, like, and the blessings that come with marriage. But just, even if you think about it, just natural partnership, let alone just it being something that God ordains and all that kind of stuff and God is for. But one of the things also I was thinking as he's talking is, and Ben said it, it's just time. Like, he's 40, time's gone. Like, not all the time's gone, but it's
a large chunk of it is gone.
To me, it's like, as he's talking on mine, like, he's like, yeah, he's come to the realization now, especially when he's talking about he's on holiday with 27-year-olds. And he's probably realizing, like, oh, I know what it's like to be where they are, but I'm 13 years removed now from that. And it's different. And it's like, when he's talking, I was like, but my dad had me at 40. But then I was like, but I'm the youngest. So do you know what I'm saying? It's completely different. It's not like I was his first child. Imagine I'm my dad's first child, and then he's trying to have more children after that. Like, that is...
Yeah, and
that's a lot, bro.
Also, like, just the complications that may come, that because, like he said, so imagine now if he says he wants 4 kids, bro. He wants 4 kids, yeah. It's like, what age does the woman have to be?
Yeah, but she could be the similar age, but they need to get busy quickly, fam. Yeah, and it's like
it's possible. Yeah,
it's possible. But I remember for myself, like, just from young, it's like I always. Once it's talking about the age of marriage, it's like 40. In my mind, I was always like, 27, 28, like around that age. Obviously, for me, it was a few years younger, but I didn't ever want to be an old dad. Like, I didn't ever want to be like a guy who had children old. So my children are growing up and I'm old, and it's like I don't have the same youth and strength to really like enjoy like run around with them, have races with them, like fight with them, like just whatever, innit? Like, but
I'm gonna do that still, like,
man. But that's the thing. Is obviously
try and I'll be like,
but obviously as you get older, I become, obviously you get wise and you realize it's like, no, like, take care of yourself, and the younger children in the family can still enjoy those things as you get older, as you have more children. Take care of yourself, make it something which is important to you, because you don't want to be one of those old dads that's like, no, I'll go into the park, you go and play, I'll sit on the bench. Like, no, like, I want my children to be
bro,
to experience the activeness, man.
Bro, as you say that, bro, I remember my dad. I remember, like, one morning. So obviously when I was younger, like, I used to kick ball. So one morning I said to my dad, so me and my little brother was gonna go out running. So I said to my dad, I was like, yeah, Dad, like, you should come with us. We're gonna run and we're gonna run to the AstroTurf. You should come and kick ball with us, because back in the day my dad was a baller.
Yeah.
I was like, you should come and kick ball with us. bro, he didn't touch the ball not once. You know why? Because as we ran there, he had to sit on a bench, bro. He had to sit on a bench.
Man had a stitch.
Couldn't do it.
Man was done.
Man had to stitch the whole lot. Man just sat down, put his arms out. It's like, yeah, like you guys got to do your thing. Like, you know what I mean? But I wanted to ask a question though. Like, here's my mind, where my mind was when I was thinking, I'm gonna lock in, shut everything out, and get myself to where I need to get myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking because, and it's as we're having this conversation, I'm realizing why I was thinking that now. Yeah, what you were saying before, like, don't you want to build with someone? It's like, yeah, I do want to build with someone, but at the same time as well, it feels like if I already have my own things, then she's just coming to meet me with those things, rather than like. I think it might be an ego thing, you know.
But she has stuff as well, though, doesn't she?
Yeah. No,
potentially she's gonna have stuff as well.
Whether she has stuff or whether she doesn't, to me, it don't matter because I've got mine. That's the way I was thinking of it, which is
okay.
It might be like an ego thing.
Mm-hmm.
It might be like an ego thing where it is true. Like, it is nice to build together. Do you know what I mean? But I guess you're gonna do that regardless. It just might be in terms of like how deep the building is, basically. Do you know what I mean? Like, because in terms of like character, you're gonna have to build together. It don't matter whether you don't.
Yeah, definitely.
There's gonna be things about her that you don't like. There's gonna be things about you that she doesn't like, and you both have to be able to adapt. You know, like that fire sharpening the iron to basically glue together kind of thing. That's gonna happen. Do you know what I mean? Whether you like it or whether you don't.
Yeah.
But yeah. So as I'm thinking of it, I feel like a lot of the times men want to get to like a certain place so that it feels like I don't need the woman.
Yeah, I don't want it to come across like I disagree with that. I do think, like, obviously the better position you can be in, it's a good thing. Like, it's, as men, obviously we know, like, the onus is on us to lead a household, to provide and all of that good stuff. So these are obviously admirable things that we have to take care of business, as they say. But then at the same time, it's like, it's kind of like what I said before about just partnership, innit? It's like, you have to, like, you don't want to go into a situation where you can't provide. It's difficult. It makes things harder. So obviously people are going through different stuff. They're in different places in life. And my big thing, like my thing more so, the significant thing I think is trajectory. As long as you're on the right pathway, as long as the trajectory is good, it's like, it's a matter of time before you hit certain checkpoints, as they like to say. And that's what I think is most significant. For someone who has no potential, has no prospects, is just in a position of waste, it's like, you don't want to now start adding in things which are going to just blow up the whole situation when it's already a negative, like, dire situation. That's what we call just adding, that's a toxic situation that's just going to get worse, most likely. So you mentioned it earlier, Ben, like, so obviously we have to be wise in it. We have to use wisdom in these situations. And I think, like, you made a good point in this, like, you have your plan, but also at the same time, I guess another way we can say it is, we have our plan, but we also are trusting in God's plan, which is higher up than our plan, which can circumvent certain things. Like, even just for me, like, when me and Emma met, it's like, in my mind, I was not thinking about that at all. And it's like, I was like, yeah, like, time's going to go on and then, like, God's going to do something miraculous down the line. I wasn't thinking now on this particular point in time, but I thank God that it happened the way it did.
I'll tell you another thing as well, like, that I feel like that happens when you're single. Obviously, I've not been in that situation for a very long time, but, like, when you're in that space, like, most people try to say, like, they don't like it. But there's something, bro. There's something about being in a space where you're not thinking about women.
Yeah.
There's something about that. It does something to a man's mind. You know what I mean? It's like,
it's focus,
the focus is different. The focus is different. Like, you don't like, you're not bothered, like, about all of that. All you're thinking about is, bruv, I can stay up as late as I want, just knocking out my work. I can get up as early as I want, knocking out my work. Do you know what I'm saying? But if I was going to the gym 3 o'clock in the morning, bruv.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Luckily, like, my job allows me to be able to start at like 10. So, but I could be, it's like, sleeping. I wake up at 3 o'clock and start knocking out work.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean?
True.
It's like there's no And like the progress that I've made in that short space of time, bro, it's nuts. Like, and I also feel like it also like corrected like a lot of things in terms of like my mindset.
Yeah.
So in a relationship, I had this thing where it was like it's about them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It's about them. The Bible talks about do unto others as you would like for them to do unto you. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like you can't love others unless you're able to love yourself.
Yeah.
And sometimes in a relationship that gets forgotten. Because I think it's because it's been corrupted. The way that people talk about loving or self-love and all that rubbish, like it's selfish love, basically. That's how they talk about self-love, yeah. But for the longest time, I don't think I knew how to love myself. So therefore, I couldn't really love anyone else. Do you know what I mean? So even when I felt like I was doing something for them, it was probably in a selfish way. It was to make me feel some type of way. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I couldn't really love them. So like in my situation now where I have to think about me first, like not in a selfish way. Hopefully, like I'm making sense, yeah. Not in a selfish way, but it's like I have to. Like my dad's getting old, right? My dad's getting older, and I know by God's grace, I can put myself in a position where I can take care of my dad, where he can no longer take care of himself, yeah. And most people think I have to start thinking about him. No, I have to start thinking about me. I have to start thinking about my health. I want to start thinking about my finances, how I spend and how I do things in order for me to enable that to happen. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's different. Like, it's different when you do that. Like I might, you know, yeah, it's very different. It's very different when you do that. At least I've sensed it to be very different. It's a space that I've never been in before. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
You know, I've taken what's deep here. So there's two things I think we're talking about here that really kind of are deep in my mind. One is the amount of scriptures that the Bible presents, not to even take it too deeply there, about marriage, just, you know, the value, the benefit. I think Iz made reference to it earlier on. And the dot I connect to that, the link there is, you know, I feel as though, and we know this, we discuss this all the time, it's like the mindset of an individual is formed and fashioned from somewhere. Like this guy watching in the video, his belief system around, you know, I'm 40 is okay, 40 is okay, or, you know, I'll be a superhero forever, comes from somewhere. And the thing that I find so sad is that there's so many of us young men who have been deceived by this corrupted perspective of life. Whether it's I will last forever, I'm a he-man, I don't need anybody, etc. Whatever these mindsets are, and I think it really feeds into this fallacy where we believe we don't need a partner, or many partners will do, or we don't need marriage, or marriage isn't, you know, conducive to my success. But when you look at the statistics, what does it say to us? The statistics are clear that, you know, married people are better off longer term, you know, financially, psychologically, etc., etc., etc. And I'm not saying that there are no outliers, that there aren't people who are single and solo who do succeed and are, you know, a benefit to society. But the reality is this broad sweeping group who have just been confused. Imagine that. Just take a moment, yeah. Dial back to what he said. He's at the swimming pool, right? On a holiday, having the time of his life. And then there's a moment where he looks at the guy next to him and is like, hold on, but I'm not the same as you. Like, I'm older than you. I've got more experience than you. I'm whatever. But in this very moment, he has the revelation that we are very much the same. You know, it's like there is no difference. And in that moment, what does that feel like? What does that actually feel like in that moment? Acknowledging that, you know, you thought you were maybe something different from what you are, but there's this sobering moment where you realize, hold on, this guy and me are essentially doing the same thing, experiencing the same thing, but in my, like, deep in my psyche, I actually thought I was further along than I am. Wow, time, like you said earlier on, time is gone. Time is running out. Like, you know, I can't get that time back.
Yeah.
So I think it's crazy. And I've kind of reiterating the point from earlier. It just makes me so grateful, so thankful to have a life built on the sure foundation of the scripture, of the good news, of the gospel, of God's way. Like it's deep. It's deep.
Yeah, how much we try to run away from that, but only to realize, well, not you, I guess maybe me. Like, I guess men in general, like we try to run away from that, only to arrive back to the point where realizing that was actually the best thing I could have done.
I think we all go through that, bro. Bro, I promise you. I think in different areas of our life, we all go through that to one degree or another, bro. We're all experiencing that, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's like when you get older, like, go on, bro.
Go on.
Like, you know, when you get older and you realize, like, all those meetings from my dad, it's like, if I didn't have it,
they're for my good.
It didn't feel good at the time, but yo, like, I probably would have been wild if you went for them meetings.
I know.
I was gonna say, I think even married people, some people who are married, like what I was thinking is, if you're not fully into your marriage, you could find yourself in the same position as what this guy's talking about. And I don't mean like even being single. What I mean is, imagine someone who is fully committed to their marriage and building it and making it work. That's going to be very successful. If two people are bought into, let's build something great, let's build something successful. That's different to two people that are just married and they're halfway in. So married people can still be in that same sort of, have I failed? Have I really like missed the mark? Did I really not live up to the potential? Because you're not fully bought into the concept. And one thing I'll say as well, just in regards to what you were saying, Six, is like, I kind of appreciate what he was saying as well about, because I thought about when he was talking about him and his 27-year-old, because bare people don't ever come to that realization, you know. Like bare people just keep living life, and it's like they may have those thoughts internally, but they will never voice it or even make it a reality. Like, oh, you know what? I'm really the same as a 27-year-old. I'm just down the line. I'm just down the road. I'm down the road of the road he's on. I'm just 13 years ahead. Yeah. And so many people don't come to that realization. Obviously, they say like acknowledgement is the first step in coming out of a situation, isn't it? So, bro,
what you're saying is so true. I think one of the days of clarity I had this day, like I had the most clarity. We were back in Old Street. This was years ago, and we had a session the night before. A couple of us just got together, and we did this kind of like I ran through like a 5-year plan workshop with the guys. And bro, at the end of the workshop, it was just like everyone was like, "Oh, gas! Oh yeah, cool. This is my plan for the next 5 years. This and that." I was working, I think, out in Surrey at the time. I came downstairs the next morning, crossed the road from the apartment, went to the bus stop. I stood at the bus stop, bro, and we'd all, you know, people in suits, everyone just there, like going to work. And bro, you know, that moment, I had this overwhelming sense of clarity and happiness. And I was querying, I was like, Lord, like, why am I so happy? What's going on? And do you know the clarity you get, bro, from like sobriety? It's like a person who's been drunk, bro, like deceived for like about whatever, bro. But in a moment, you get that, like, you know, it's like, hold on, I can see clearly that the scales have fallen. And I'm like, I know exactly what I'm here with all of these other guys. We're all going to our job this morning, but I actually know where this job is leading to. I've set down some financial, these goals, and I know exactly where I'm going. And in that moment, I just felt clear, bro. I felt different from everyone else because I had a clear roadmap, a pathway taking me to where I wanted to go to. And the challenge, bro, I think is, as you just said so rightly, and the guy's highlighting, many people don't take a moment to be sober, to think clearly. And I think it counts, it matters as a man, like for all of us, but as a man, especially if you're called to lead, you know, a household, people, a community, whatever, I think it matters so much, bro, to be clear, to really see, you know, the trees from the forest, bro. I think it matters. I think it matters so much, bro. And
what do you think? What do you think causes the person to get to that point? Obviously, as we can see, for this guy's age, isn't it?
Truth.
Yeah, but I think he's saying what is the motivating factor that just drives you to the point where you have the moment of realization, is what my dad calls it. What gets you there, he's saying is.
Yeah, bro, I still feel like it's truth. Like we all go through those. Like I think it could be easy to say time, but so many people, how many people go like long amount of years and still don't acknowledge the way this guy's acknowledging?
I hear that. So the only thing is like that person who's being told the truth, they have been told the truth.
No. Okay, so sorry. And when I'm saying truth, I'm saying the person has to tell the truth. They have to be honest with themselves. That's not people telling them like, yeah, but obviously we know people can say stuff to people and it's up to them. You have to come to that internal truthful moment with yourself and be like, okay, this is where I'm at. That's why I think him telling that story was so powerful, because I think so many people can relate to that sort of situation where they've probably been in a scenario where it's like they're years ahead of someone else, but they're seeing the person doing the exact same stuff as them. But this is the difference. Most or a lot of people in that scenario won't admit it. Bare people, firstly, they're not even tuned in enough to even acknowledge it, like to really perceive what actually happened. But there's loads of people out there who will actually they'll deep everything and they'll be like, oh wow, and they won't acknowledge it. But if you don't acknowledge it, that's how you can't get to growth. You have to acknowledge it first and foremost before you can even get to the point of, okay, cool. Now what do I want to do about it? Which is a completely different scenario.
What is it? Is it Mr. Rohn who talks about preparation plus opportunity? Is it him that says that, or is it someone else's quote?
Yeah, I think I've heard that from Ron still.
Yeah, and I'll be cheeky and I'll say, bro, I think that has somewhat to do with it. Like, I've done these plans before, bro. I'd had this clarity before, but I think I was saying to you guys before we started recording, I was saying that, I thank God for the community around me, you guys, that people that push me. And I think in that moment, that session, I had that session with these guys the day before, and it was like, we were just there talking, like, just hashing things out. Like, it's nice when people are coming together. There's this synergistic energy that comes, like this synergistic, power that comes when people have the same goal, the same vision, and you're united together to work on this thing. And I think when I came out the next morning, bro, it was like, I was grateful for the session I had the day before and just the coming together of the minds. And we were talking about these things, bro, together. So I think I was prepared, maybe somewhat before that, but the opportunity of that night, and it came together, I think that was what really propelled me and being like, you know what, this thing is really powerful. This vision is really powerful. And if I really just execute what's in the plan, it's all going to come to fruition. And so I think there's something about being prepared and the opportunity, because I don't know that you can simulate it, bro. I've been through so many workshops, so many different things, but that particular thing has stuck with me forever. I remember the way I felt at the bus stop that morning, getting to the office, bro, and just thinking like, wait, I'm different from all these guys. I wonder if these guys have got a plan. I wonder if they're ready. Oh, I'm ready. Like, I'm doing this. I'm going. And I just walked into that reality, bro. Just like literally walked into it. But sometimes we're so comfortable, the opportunity doesn't present itself. Sometimes we're so deceived that it's like we're just happy to go with the way things are, bro. Like, remember that video we did with Will Smith and Lecrae, bruv? He himself was talking about, and again, we don't know the situation, but he was talking about them having this wrong mindset and his mindset changed. Think about all the things that's happened to him, bruv. Like, he's been successful for years, but by his account, his admission, it took whatever he'd went through, all of the years of success, all of the years of his age, for him to be like, oh, you know what? I've just had the realization that I'm not the Superman I thought I was. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's that you have to be prepared. Like, there's some information that has to be in you, and there is an opportunity that God will, present that will allow you to make a decision of, I'm prepared. I've got this info. This is the opportunity. Am I going to be sober? And that is said, am I going to tell the truth? Will honesty set me free in this moment? Like, will I permit it to set me free? Yeah. So, yeah, bruv, I think there's a little bit of work that happens in the background.
Yeah, definitely. I think a large part of it for me is to do with humility, because what you tend to find a lot of the times is people, like you said, the surrounding that you had around you. I could almost guarantee you there is somebody who probably would have been around that surrounding and wouldn't have liked it because he's becoming sober. And this is the thing with people. A lot of people, what you tend to find is, because they say that the environment that you're around, you're either going to adapt to what's happening in that environment, or you have to move away from that environment. Because oftentimes I've had this with like people, like friends of mine, or you could say associates, where like a group of us come out of college, and you can see like where everyone's gone in terms of like what they're doing and how they've like change things around and the careers that they've jumped into, and so much so that they can help. We now begin to help each other. Oh, you're doing this. Okay, cool. I know a person who knows a person that can put you onto this. Oh, you're doing this. Like, but there were some who was just like they couldn't be around that because it just they were too stuck in that old mindset. And whenever they had gotten around us lot, it was almost like they were sobering up and they didn't want to sober up.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would move away from that environment. Do you know what I mean? It was like, and even I'm not even trying to get at those people or anything like that, because I feel like we also do that with our faith walk as well, where you'll be around somebody who might point out what you're doing isn't what a believer should be doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they might not even have to point it out in terms of like say it out loud. They might just live their life in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And then that person sees that, so they don't curse. Oh, they don't listen to this, or they don't watch this, or they don't go there, or they don't do this. And it gets uncomfortable for them. They can't stay in that area. They can't stay there. So either they're going to have to adapt, change the way that they've been living, or move away from you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like move away from you. So I feel like a large part of it is down to the fact, because you have to humble yourself. Like I think I've said it to you guys before. Like if I'm doing something that won't help me in the future, I might not come with open arms like, yeah, just tell me off and rebuke me and this, that, and the other. But I know deep down, although it may not feel good, please do rebuke me, because I value my growth. Do you know what I mean? It's like I want to get to a point where, you know, I go from doing wrong to doing right.
Yeah.
I mean, because ultimately, the person who's going to be the happiest with the result is going to be you. Like, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no matter how much your parents, the people around you might pat you in the back, oh, well done for doing all of that. The person who you're going to be the most happy with is yourself, because you did. At the end of the day, someone can tell you, but you had to do the job. Someone can say to you that, yo, your walk is a bit dodgy here, but you had to change. You had to do the praying. You had to do the fasting. You had to do all of that. Do you know what I mean? So the person you're going to be most proud of is you. So, like, yeah, it does take a lot, but it helps you in the long run. I think this is where people get twanged or they get deceived, because they're thinking in their mind they don't want to be told the truth. But no, you do want to get told the truth, because when everyone, you know what's sad? When, you know, like when you come to a realization, imagine, you know, I think they do it in America quite a lot, where they have like a high school reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you can't imagine going to that reunion and you're still functioning the same.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Everyone's moved on, like married, kids, businesses, and so on and so on. I've realized something about life here. When we were younger in college,
Yeah.
like I remember I used to live in a hostel. In that hostel, I think I was one of the youngest in a hostel, yeah. But I had a job. Whilst I was living in that hostel, yeah. So I had the latest crepes, the tracksuits. And it's like, we're all in the same situation, but there's somebody that stands out. Do you know what I'm saying? But fast forward, like you're being where it wasn't about the trainers and the tracksuits anymore. It might be who's got the and then you see I see some of my friends now driving the latest car. And then you feel some type of way. It's like, oh, okay, they've got cars now. I'm still on a bike. They've got cars now. Do you know what I mean? And then you move forward. It's like, oh, they're married now. Or this person started a business now and is successful now. Like the levels change, and someone might not necessarily judge you for having a job, but it's like, you know, deep down, you're still talking about things that happened 15 years ago, and you can't get out of that mindset. Like, you know it deep down, you feel it, and that uncomfortable feeling is what causes people to want to move away. Like, rather using it as like, people always say like, don't compare yourself to each other. I think there's a negative and a positive to that. I feel like I can look at my friends and be like, okay, I know, like before, not to knock anybody that does delivery driving or anything like that, but they say you're around with, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, most of my friends have office jobs, but I remember I was doing delivery driving, right? And I didn't even know it, like, but I remember when I wanted to just lock it off. So I cut my pay like in half to work in an office. But little did I know that action that I took ended up me getting like a much better role down the line, where I predominantly like I'm working in like the same environment as what like my friends kind of do somewhat. You know what I mean? So like, I think it's a large part of it is definitely like just being humble and recognizing that, like, you know, sometimes when you have those like, look at where my life is, it's not always a bad thing. It's not always a bad thing. It's a cause for change oftentimes. And if you treat it correctly, then, you know, you may not have to ask yourself that question when you're 60.
So the question is, if you are 40 years old, not married, no children, and let's say you've got finances are stable, have you failed? Have you failed?
Nah, no way.
40 years old, say it again. You got married, you're not married, you don't have children, have you failed?
Not married, not children, and stable finances.
Oh man, different people have, like, if the whole world was like that, then obviously the whole world has failed. But I think you know, different people have different callings, different people have different pathways, and not everyone is that case. And I keep dialing back to the scripture, but you know, if the Apostle Paul chose to be married, bruv, like the scriptures would look very different today. But his road was the road he was called to, and he was, you know, faithful to that road. Our Lord Jesus Christ, the same thing, bro. Like he was faithful to, you know, uphold the calling that he had. There are those who are called to a life of singleness. But my point is just like, I know I'm not answering the question in a short way, I apologize. But my point is just that, you know, is it for the right reason or the wrong reason?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So yeah, no, you've not failed. Absolutely not. Come on, man. No way.
Yeah, I think I would agree, but I'll just say I feel like a lot of people who should be married, should have children, obviously they have failed. But let us know what you think down below in the comment section, and until next time, peace.
Peace.